Hi everyone, this is Paul Fisher. Today we'll be looking at the Spring 19 release for Lightning for Gmail. We'll go through each of the features that were released one by one. The first few here are for high velocity sales as well as Salesforce inbox, so we won't be looking at those, but we'll be looking at these bottom three here. So the first one is require login credentials when sessions expire. So in Salesforce, if you have a browser tab open, you have a session timeout, maybe it's about 15 minutes, and you can require when that session times out to also log the user out of the Lightning for Gmail plugin now. Now, most people will not utilize this feature. In fact, many people have reported in the Salesforce success community that they've been logged out of the Lightning for Gmail plugin when they did not want to be. So in that case, you won't leverage this feature. You'll want to stay logged in even if your Salesforce session expires. But for those who do, for whatever your security policies may be, the way you can take advantage of this is by going to the Salesforce setup menu inside of Salesforce and going to the Gmail section of the setup node. And from there, you're going to notice a new feature. It's this Keep Gmail and Salesforce Connected option. If you want to leverage the new feature, what you want to do is turn off, you would turn off this feature. And so what that would do is when that would align the Salesforce session expiry with your Lightning for Gmail plugin expiry as well. So that will keep the sessions in sync. However, if you want to stay logged in to your Lightning for Gmail plugin, even if you're logged out of Salesforce, go ahead and just keep this enabled. So that's the first feature we'll look at. The second one is the ability to access Salesforce information directly from your Google Calendar. So if I pull up my Google Calendar here, the first thing you'll notice is I have the Salesforce Lightning for Gmail plugin. And what I can do is I can click anywhere. I'll create a test event, for example. But you have this plugin available. You can leverage your global actions here. You can do a global search if you wanted to. You could also, pop out and go directly into a full Salesforce window. But the idea is here that you have your plugin with you. So let's say let me drill into this event. And let's add a person to it. So I'll go ahead and add Tim to this. And now I can go ahead and click this log event button. This button here is here because I have the sync feature set up from Google Calendar to Salesforce, where I have to manually click log event to validate that I want the event to sync over. The reason I did this is I don't want my personal events, such as like my personal time that I have blocked out on my calendar, or maybe a dentist appointment, to sync over to Salesforce. So this is a nice little check on that, to have to manually click log here. So I'll click log. You'll notice that I have the option here to choose the person I want to relate this event to. So in this case, it's found a matching email address for Tim, so in the Salesforce contact database. So I'll just choose Tim here with this radio button. And then it also found the account that Tim's attached to. So I can choose his account as well. So I'll click save here. And now our event got related both to Tim as well as his account. So from the plugin here, if I click into Tim and I want to go to the activity, in the activity timeline, I can see this test event has in fact been related to Tim. If I click into the TaskUs account, I will see in the activity timeline as well that the event shows up there. Now let's open this up in a full Salesforce window, and I'm on the TaskUs account. You can see that same event is here, as well as if I pull up Tim's contact record, you'll also see it in his activity timeline as an event here. can also drill directly into that event. We'll see that it's assigned to myself because I was the person that created it. We'll see the time. We'll see the responses of the potential attendees, including myself. We see that's related to Tim's contact record as well as the account. If we had related any attachments as well to this event, they could show up here under attachments. So that is that next feature, really allowing accessing Salesforce information and the plugin while you have your Google Calendar open. The next feature is the ability to log emails to people who weren't necessarily CC'd or sent the email to. This is kind of a 5% use case here, but you may, let's say you have an email, you sent an email up to someone else. Maybe it was about a third person who wasn't CC'd, but you would want it to show up on their activity timeline in Salesforce. So that's the use case here, where you can choose to log that email even though they were not on the email thread to that person's contact, so it shows up on their activity timeline in Salesforce. So let's have a look at that here. So in this example, I'm going to choose this email from Danielle Beard from Conga. I already have her in my CRM as a contact and business account with Conga. But let's say we're talking about a different contact here. We're talking about Dale, who we're collaborating with, but Dale's not on this thread. Maybe Dale's out of office and we didn't want to bog her inbox down, but we still want to, we're going to meet with Dale later to catch her up, but we didn't want to bog her inbox up. So in this case, we still want to log the email to Dale's contact record, because when she gets back in the office, we'll sync up with her and she's part of this planning process. So in this case, what I will do is click this log email button. So you'll notice that by default, it found both myself and Danielle, but I also want to add another person here, Dale. So I'm just going to search my contacts for Dale, and it found her. And now this will be logged to Dale, even though she was not on the original email thread. It will be logged to Dale's contact record. We'll also add it to the Conga account here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. I can choose to include the attachments. In this case, the attachments were just email signature images, so I don't need to include those. And I'll click Save. All right, so now if we open up this email, we'll see that the email from Danielle to me is logged. In the sender and recipients, we see both Danielle and myself, and then in the other related people here, we see Dale. And then in the account related to, we see Conga. So now if I were to go to Danielle's record, for example, we'll see the email in her activity feed. We'd also see it in Dale's activity feed, and we'll also see it in the Conga account activity feed as well. So that's the feature here for logging emails to people who are not email recipients with Lightning for Gmail. So that wraps up the Lightning for Gmail features for the Spring 19 release. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this release, feel free to drop me a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you with an answer. Thanks again.